Hey everyone, my name's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about my January 2021 TBR, and I am so excited because it is a new year. We can all breathe a sigh of relief that we got through 2020. So for some of my goals that I made for this year, one of the biggest ones was completing my outstanding series that I started from last year. So I don't want to have these series hanging over my head for the entire year. So this month, I'm not doing my TBR game. I will still be doing my Roll the Dice TBR game in the future, since I know that a lot of you really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing it. But for this month's TBR, I'm trying to prioritize some of my buddy read books that I have to get to, but also series and trying to get through these series. So let's talk about these. First of all, the two books that I know I have to get to this month, no excuses, is going to be the Shelf Space book club pick for the month of January, and that is City of Stairs by Robert Jackson Bennett, which I am so incredibly excited about. We have our guest host Vish over at BooksWithV, who is absolutely fantastic for this month, and I'm so excited for the live show at the end of the month. If you don't know, Robert Jackson Bennett wrote Foundryside and that series, and I am obsessed with Foundryside and Shorefall, so I've been really wanting to pick up his other completed series. So this one I know has a lot to do with the gods of this fantasy world, and I love exploring those types of fantasy books where it places a heavy emphasis on gods and these fantasy religions. I think are just so fantastic and unique. So I'm really excited to start this and see how I like it. The only person I've really seen talk about it is Reagan over at PeruseProject, who I'm sure you have been made aware of her. She's fantastic. I will link her channel down below just in case you're not following her. But yeah, so I've been really wanting to check it out and I'm really excited. So this is definitely going to be one of my books for this month. The other book I know I have to get to is the buddy read for this month with Elle over at Elliot Brooks. If you don't already know, every month this year we are doing a buddy read together, and for the first 3 months at least, we are going to be doing live shows for these books, and this month we are doing Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. I'm really excited. I know that Katy over at Brightness Katy Reads absolutely loves this series, so I'm just really excited to dive in. I know it is about this like long lost prince who gets abducted and gets forced into living with this royal family, and he thought being a long lost prince would be like the fairy tales, but it's not, and it's full of political intrigue. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to check this out. And if you want to chat with Elle and I as we're reading this book, we are going to be reading it and chatting about it over on Byzans. And then of course we'll have the live show announced later this month, which will take place on Elle's channel. So I will keep you all updated. I'm very excited. Now it's time for some mood reading options. So I'm going to give you some options here because I don't totally know which series I want to complete first this year, but I have some options. I have already started The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, which is the second book in the Poppy War trilogy, and I was obsessed with Poppy War last year. It is one of my new favorite fantasies of all time. I'm so excited to complete The Dragon Republic and then hopefully get to Burning God either this month or next month, because I'd love to finish off this trilogy. I've heard that the popular opinion is that the second book seems to be the fan favorite. I'm very curious because I love the first book, so I don't quite know how the second book can top it. But I am anxious to find out. I'm already really enjoying it. I'm already really liking the direction it's going, so I have a lot of faith that this is just going to be a favorite series for me, for sure. If you don't know, this is a fantasy story that takes place based on real historical events from the Sino-Japanese War. The first book touched on a very real historical event called the Rape of Nanking. It's very graphic, very violent, but also just really well done, in my opinion. And the characters, they're unlikable, but you somehow like them anyway. At least I did. I love Rin, even though she's such an unlikable protagonist. I love her. So I can't wait to continue on with this. So this is definitely one that I know I'll be finishing this month because I've already started it and I'm already really enjoying it. In my Discord server, we are also buddy reading The Lost World by Michael Crichton, which is the sequel to Jurassic Park, and I read Jurassic Park last year. It was one of my favorite movies of all time as a child growing up. I love Jurassic Park. I still love it to this day. It's still one of my favorites. So I loved the book. Reading the book last year was so much fun. Oh my God, it was so good. Like, exceeded my expectations. And that was going to be hard to do because I already had such high expectations going into it. So I'm really excited to read The Lost World. I'm hoping to get to it this month. I really would like to buddy read it with everyone else who's reading it over in the Discord server. This one I feel like really needs no explanation. Come on, guys. You know, it's about resurrecting dinosaurs that went extinct and making an amusement park out of it. That's basically what it is. Couple other options here. So my outstanding series from last year that I'd really like to get to. First of all, Witcher. I need to read Tower of Swallows and Lady of the Lake. So I have only 2 more books in the Witcher series. I actually started reading this book last month on audio. And to be honest with you guys, sometimes the audiobooks work for me for this series, but when I was listening to the audiobook for this particular one, it wasn't working. I wasn't processing the information. I was very lost. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start it over, physically read it. I got like halfway through this book, and it was really sad. I was like, do I keep trying to push through? I don't think that's fair to this book. So I'm going to start it over and physically read it. I have a feeling, though, based on how I felt about at least the audiobook portion that I listened to, that I'm not going to like this as much as Baptism of Fire. It had way less Geralt and Dandelion in it. It had a lot more Ciri. So I'm curious. I'm still, like, I hope maybe physically reading it will help me connect and like it a little bit more. So this is definitely one option I have. And then another option is Valor by John Gwynne, the follow-up to Malice, which I loved. Malice was one of my most surprising reads of last year, I would say. And even though I think the first like 200 pages, it takes a while to get into, once you get into it and once you hit that ending, you will be hooked. The characters are so enjoyable. Even the ones you hate, you like love to hate them. The ones you love, you absolutely love. I became so invested in what was going on. I love the whole prophecy trope in this. It's just fantastic. It's just epic adult fantasy at its finest. It's just so good. So I'm really excited to continue on with this series. I can't believe I haven't yet. So Valor is definitely on my short list to get to, hopefully, this month. So I have all of these displayed, but keep in mind that if I love the Dragon Republic and want to continue on with the Burning God, then I would probably knock off maybe Tower of Swallows or Valor instead. Same thing with if I love Valor and I want to read Ruin. So I'm being a lot more flexible with my TBRs. I'm kind of giving myself options. A couple of other call outs though. I do also want to start reading more graphic novels and manga and comic books this year. So I do have the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 that I would really like to start with. I have not read any Spider-Man comic books, and I've heard that this is a really good place to start. This is kind of like a more modern version of the origin story of Spider-Man. So I'm excited to read Spider-Man this month and hopefully get to Batman Year One. Batman is another one of my favorite superheroes. Haven't read any Batman comics yet. That's a lie. I did read Court of Owls several years ago, but I really have no recollection of it. It was quite a long time ago. So I'm excited to kind of restart my journey with Batman with Year One. I've also heard this is a really good starting place. So those are going to be the 2 comic books I tried to get to this month. And then my last goal that I did have, besides completing series and reading more comic books and manga, was going to be reading more underrated books. So my underrated pick for this month is going to be Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron. I've heard a couple channels talk about this. I know that Mariah over at BookishWithMariah really enjoyed this. I know that Chidimma over at her channel, she really enjoyed this. I will link both of their channels down below. I've been really wanting to get to this. It sounds like it is this fun, empowering retelling of Cinderella. I'm excited. It is more young adult as well, which will be nice to kind of mix in with all of this adult fantasy that's going on over here. So I'm excited to finally get to this one and see how I enjoy it. So that is my TBR. My very flexible TBR for January. What is your most anticipated read for the month of January? I would love to know, so leave those comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Happy New Year, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!